Tomorrow night, the U.S. men's national team take on Guatemala, 7 p.m. Eastern in the CONCACAF Gold Cup semifinal. Can Guatemala continue their impressive run, or does it stop at St. Louis against the United States? Well, joining us now is USMNT veteran Tim Ream in his hometown. And Tim, I heard that the rest of the team got to sleep in a little bit today because training got pushed back. So how did you draw the short end of the stick and end up on the show here with us?
Apparently because you guys requested me and it's my hometown.
So we pulled him out of bed.
Yeah, so this is our fault now.
But you know what? I think he wants to be on here because he could have just been here, hair disheveled. He put the ponytail back. I know Tim wants to be here. Don't give us that much crap that you're finally on Morning Footy for like the 16th time.
16th, it's more like 600.
I think you might be the all-time leader in appearances here on the show. We're grateful for it. Sorry to you.
For his 100th time, he's going to get a Morning Footy kit celebrating his 100th appearance on the show.
And I'm sure Tim would promptly throw that right in the trash can. Or would you hang it up? Would you get a nice shadow box for a nice Morning Footy 100 caps?
Yeah, I'd probably do something. I'd probably actually give it to my kids, to be honest with you. They love this stuff more than I do.
So
respectable.
How old are your kids? Are they like, do they fully like really understand how cool it is what dad does? Like, are they all about soccer at this point in their lives?
I wouldn't say they're all about soccer. They enjoy watching it. They are not active participants, but they're 11, 9, and 6, and fully aware of what I do and how important it is that I'm still doing it.
Well, it is pretty cool, and you're playing in a pretty big match tomorrow night that you get to take on Guatemala, but you're doing it in your hometown. What can we expect from the big Tim Ream supporters section in St. Louis?
I don't know because I've turned my phone on silent. Do not disturb. Leave me be. Let me focus. So, no, listen. I think. Listen, the crowds are really supportive, really big when we come to St. Louis, and we don't expect that to be any different. I was told yesterday that after we won, there was like something like 8,000 to 10,000 tickets sold in a pretty quick, pretty quick amount of time. So expect the support to be great, and whenever I step out, there's always a bunch of people that the faces in the crowd that you see that you recognize.
Tim, obviously, I think you guys are well aware that the performances haven't been perhaps as you guys expected them, as clean. It is CONCACAF, it is the Gold Cup. Sometimes it does get sloppy, and you just need to get over the line and win. But what are some areas that you guys have been working on with Poch in order to try to reach that ceiling, especially in a semifinal? Yeah,
obviously, the big focus has been a togetherness, has been an intensity, has been a focus, has been a grit, a determination. But really, just making sure that we take care of each other. Like you said, these games are. Everybody wants to label them as they're easy games. It's this team and this team, and it's just not the case in CONCACAF. No matter where you play, no matter who you play, and so for us, it's been about making sure that we're sticking together, making sure that we're putting in maximal effort with and without the ball, and being aggressive with and without the ball. And sometimes it's not going to look great. We know that, and sometimes it's not about looking great. It's about being together and making sure we're getting it over the line, like you said. And that's been the biggest focus. But obviously we know what we have available in our changing room, and guys are stepping up and making plays and making sure that we do get over the line and continue on in the tournament.
And how did recent friendlies that you've had prepare the squad for the Gold Cup?
Honestly, it may sound crazy, but I think those 2 games against Turkey and Switzerland put us in a place where we realized, okay, we understand what we have to do now. We understand what it's going to take for this team to come together and have a successful tournament. The Switzerland game was obviously a huge and could have been an even bigger knock of confidence for a lot of these guys. But, we sat back, we analyzed, we had a lot of individual and group conversations. And, I think guys understood that it was a learning experience, albeit in the moment, a terrible learning experience. But it's something that they used as motivation to to come out and really do some damage in the first game like we did, and just continue on winning games in any way possible.
Tim, I loved your quotes after Copa America about the mentality needed for the national team. It was very clear to me, at least, that you understood what you need to bring to the national team. And now, 1 year later, a summer removed, with a couple of pillars not playing, either it be because of the Club World Cup injuries or opting to not play in the camp. How has your responsibility as a leader changed in this camp to kind of show a lot of these guys, some guys, that it might be their first actual tournament with the U.S., and how to interpret the seriousness that you need to respect the badge?
Yeah, I mean, I said it after Qatar, and like you said, I said it after Copa last summer. It's representing the badge and the country and the program it should mean something, and it should mean more than just a little something. There's a reason that I'm still pushing myself to do it every single day, every single week, every single game, because it's pride, it's passion, it's it's commitment. I get questioned all the time. Why are you still doing this? Because at the end of the day, there will come a point where you don't get to. There will come a point where you may not get picked, and so you take that and you understand that you have to give everything every single day if you want to continue to be involved. And it gets harder, and it gets harder, and it gets harder, and it's having to step up to that plate and understand that it's going to be hard, but you have to do it. And I said it after the game the other day to a few of the guys. It's such an enjoyable feel, even in the game, watching guys run around and throw themselves into tackles, to run into scrums and get into the other team's face when they need to, but also doing it together, watching the side during the penalties, how into it and how important they've been, and just making sure that message is passed down to all these guys, because like you said, it's for a lot of them, it's their first tournament experience, so they didn't know what to expect, and now that they've got 4 games under their belt, watching them perform, watching them put the work in has probably been one of the most satisfying things, seeing them develop and grow.
Tim, it's so cool hearing you talk with so much hunger and passion for what you do at this stage in your career. Obviously, there's a big World Cup coming up next summer that will be played here on U.S. soil. What have your conversations with Mauricio Pochettino been like about what your role could possibly be with this team come next summer?
None. We've not talked about next summer. We've completely focused on each game at a time. I know that's so cliche, but it's not something that any of us are really looking at. Obviously, it's out there. It's in the distance. It's a goal. I think if it's not a goal of everyone who's here, it should be. It's one of those things that whatever happens, 1 year from now is what will happen 1 year from now. We're not really discussing it and focusing on it, or discussing, different roles that guys are going to have. If I'm there, great. That's been a goal since, Qatar ended. If I'm not, then there are other things that happen, and that's okay too. But, I think every guy in the room is hungry to get there, and I'm no different.
So how does that translate into trainings, into matches? Because we look at the squad right now, and we would imagine that a big chunk of these guys aren't going to be at the World Cup come 2026. So there must be a massive amount of competitiveness. I even look at the goalkeeping situation, right? Who's vying for the top goalkeeper spot come 1 year? How does that translate onto the pitch? Yeah,
obviously, we've been speaking a lot about opportunity for every individual, whether that's in training, whether that's 5 minutes off the bench, 10 minutes off the bench, whether that's starting every game. Every moment is an opportunity. Every time the ball comes your way, or every time you're defending against somebody, it's an opportunity to show that you belong. And it does make for some intense trainings. It makes for some a few spicy tackles in training, which you don't often see. But I think overall the message is continue to take your opportunities, continue to do it with intensity. Again, because you just don't know. Injuries happen, form changes, and all of a sudden somebody may think, oh, well, I'm on the outside looking in, and they're in. I mean, I'm a prime example of that from the last World Cup. And so, I think it's just, it creates a level of competition in training that we haven't necessarily seen, consistently throughout my time in the last probably 5, 6, 7 years, which is good. It brings out the best in players, the competition, and it continues to push guys and drive guys on.
If everybody had your mentality, Tim, I think we could conquer the world.
I don't want to conquer the world. I just want to play football.
President, everybody. All right, Tim, awesome stuff. Best of luck tomorrow night.